Rising, beautiful family. Retta's Recovery Reminders. Ratchet is right here with me, as always. So grateful for her. She really taught me what unconditional love meant and why we do certain things we do out of fear. We act angry or, you know, out of fear. It's only fear. And it was just, I needed her. She was like the perfect piece in my life that like turned all the little, you know, gears up in there to click into place. And, I finally realized that it was my fear that was holding me back the whole time. My fear was causing me to react in anger and animosity. And, when people say things about us that hurt our feelings or something like that, it's only when we actually identify with whatever they're saying that it upsets us. And you have to learn how to heal those things so you no longer identify with the negative, aspects of who you might have been at one time. And we all have to go through what we have to go through to get to where we need to be in life. And for the longest time, I just couldn't figure out why I couldn't get clean, why I couldn't stop using. Why? What is it that keeps me going back to that feeling? And it was the like loss of every bad feeling that I had inside myself. Like that's all, it all went away when I took, illicit substances, because that's what, opiates do. They cut off our connection somehow internally to the pain. The pain receptors are what, and emotional pain is the same. I mean, it's different than physical pain, but it's still something inside of us that is keeping us from being our best self. And that's really when we carry those negative reminders and memories of who we might have been at one point in time. That's what keeps us, it's like, that's not me anymore. So you could say whatever you want about that person. Yeah. And I'll probably agree with you because I, did some crazy stuff in my days. But it was all because I felt like I needed to do that to survive. Like we become who we think we need to be to survive. And sometimes it's not authentically us. Most of the time, it's not authentically us because we were taught negative patterns of behavior through our childhood. And whatever you were given, from 1 to 7, however you were treated, that's basically what you think the world feels about you. And it's what you feel about yourself, and I know because I dealt with it for 50 years, 45 actually, because I've been healing for quite some time now. And I have come so far. But until you realize that you're the only one, you're the only one that's coming to save you. There's no divinity coming from the clouds. It's internal. It's within you. And until you make that connection with the divine inside yourself and know that it is you, we are all divinity experiencing itself, and we have been lied to by religious orders trying to keep control over the populace, but it also controlled our mind and our thoughts and the way we saw the world. And there are no enemies, okay? There's other people doing, what they think is right for their life. I mean, there are some negative people, but they have been fooled into believing they are doing these negative things for a positive reason. And it's really insane, but it's all manipulation. And there's either service of others or service of self, and you can choose whichever path, you want in life. You can, serve yourself and be selfish and just, it's all about me. Or you can, know that we're all in this together, and whatever heal in yourself, you're healing in your family line, in your lineage. You're taking the animosity and all the stuff that was swept under the rug for so long and bringing it out into the light and looking at it and being like, wow, that really sucked. I wish that would have never happened, but it did. Let's make sure that this stuff doesn't happen again. And awareness is the only way to know, what you're up against. My mother kept telling me, oh, stop focusing on, because I've been learning about, narcissistic abuse and how it affects our brain, our mind, because I need to know. This is my life. Like, it's important to me. I need to know that I wasn't to blame for his behavior. And now I know for a fact that it's something broken inside of him that no amount of love, helping, whatever that I could do could fix him. And that's where I had to really, allow myself to let go. I wanted that so bad. I didn't want that to fail, because I felt like everything in my life had failed previously, I didn't want my marriage to fail either, but it wasn't real. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't what I dreamt of when I thought about having a relationship when I was younger. And I knew that, but I stayed because it was like, oh, well, we've got all this time, and I put a lot of work into it. But, I was putting my energy into the wrong places when I should have been putting my energy into fixing myself. And once I started to do that, and I continued to see him pointing out things about me, it's like, you're missing it. You need to get in here and figure out what you need to fix and stop worrying about what I'm fixing, because I'm fixing me, okay? Fix you. And he couldn't get it. He wouldn't. And I realized that not everyone has the same idea of what love is. So that's probably a really good question in relationships, to ask your partner what their idea of like a perfect relationship and a perfect marriage. What does that look like for you? Because I probably would have, I don't know, I would have not been so willing to tie my cart to that horse. I was thinking with my eyes and not, we love things that look good. And not everything that looks good is good. And when you are true to your soul. So I was reading, this is Discovering Self-Forgiveness in this book, The Altar Within. Really wonderful book. Juliet Diaz, A Radical Devotional Guide to Liberate the Divine Self, which is what I have been doing in my life. And I'm so grateful. To forgive yourself is another powerful and beautiful form of self-discovery. Forgiveness is an essential step in letting go of the past that may be haunting your present, and that is likely hiding you from the divine self within. It is important to note that self-forgiveness is not condoning, excusing, or minimizing. Instead, it is taking responsibility and accountability. So you learn from the past experiences and move forward. When we allow ourselves to be free from the things we haven't forgiven, we are able to see ourselves in our most flawless form, the people we can be when liberated from our past and our mistakes. When was the last time you took a deep breath? Take a moment and do so now. And on the exhale, release a big sigh. Let's do that together. Breathing is so important, and we, take it for granted because it's something we don't think about. That is our life force. It is our interaction with the divine on a, rudimentary basis. And we just really need forgiveness. On the other side of that, we avoid self-forgiveness. We can do enormous harm to our mental health and nervous system. Self-blame and shame have been connected to anxiety, depression, and a weakened immune system. I can personally attest to this. I had no idea that I needed to forgive myself. And honestly, I didn't know what that meant or what it would even look like. But as I mentioned earlier in this book, I have tons of anxiety and fear. Energetic bodies, we are taking a beating. And it wasn't until I started doing this devotional that I saw the correlation between the work I was doing and the healing that I was starting to manifest. And that's really, we can't start to heal until we forgive ourselves for everything that we thought we had to be to survive. Really, it's all about survival. And when you really get that, and you realize, why we have some of the feelings that we have, it's normal, it's natural, and they are using it against us. They're trying to normalize trauma, and it's up to you to make sure that you don't allow it to come into your bubble. I have the way I look at my life now. My life is a construct. Okay, my construct, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. As long as I keep my construct of my life in order, my mental, my emotional, my spiritual, which that was the most important part. Let me just get that right now. That was the part that I was missing my whole life, because I kept reading all these religions that it's like, it didn't hit true with me. It just didn't ring true with me. Now what's coming out, what we're learning now, that it's all an internal. God and the devil is an internal, aspect of yourself. And I started connecting to my higher self. That's how I started my healing journey. I was connecting in meditation with my higher self. I wanted to make better decisions. I wanted to be more mature because I felt like I was being childish in my relationship because I didn't know how to deal with somebody trying to start arguments with me for no reason. So I started learning about other people's behavior and, you know, mental disorders and how to engage with people lovingly without trying to make them feel less than. And it's only when you do that that you're actually going to be able to reach somebody. Because if you're talking at them and rah, 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 like they're going to shut down. And they might even shut down, even, if you do, because everybody will face their own stuff when they're ready and not a second before, believe me. Not a second before. But until you take responsibility for every single decision that you've ever made in your life and realize that you are where you are because you allowed yourself to either flow behind someone, follow something that wasn't actually for you, or, your soul tells you. You are told, I look back and remember like being in the middle of things and he would say these things and it's like, that's not me. Like, I don't know where that's coming from, but I don't know what you're talking about, but you're not talking about me. He was talking about himself because we can only see what's inside of us. We paint our traits onto other people because that's all we know. That's all we know is what's inside. And for me, I painted my loving, caring, compassionate traits onto him because I knew that he had a hard childhood and I allowed him to hurt me again and again and again and again. And I basically was telling him, please treat me like shit. Please treat me like shit because I'm going to continue to allow you to because I love you. That's not love. Trying to make someone that you care about feel bad because you feel bad is not love. It's actually the opposite. You don't want to deal with whatever icky feeling you have inside your heart. So you're trying to push it off onto somebody else because you think you can get rid of it. You can't. It's still there. And it's going to come up again when somebody pokes on you. Because just like that story about, when somebody bumps into you with a cup of coffee, you spill coffee, whatever's in your cup, you're going to spill out. Period. That's it. If you fill your cup with love, when somebody bumps into you, you're going to spill out love, and understand that we're just all here learning. Stop acting like high school students and judging other people, because when you judge other people, all you're really doing is judging yourself. That's it. Start doing the right thing. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. And when you start doing that and you live your life from a place of integrity and love, that's what you get back from the universe. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I have a simple little life now, but it's the best it's ever been. The only thing that's missing is my baby, my kids. But that will change. I know that nothing stays the same. If anything I can be sure of, it's going to be change. And we have to go through everything in order. We can't jump over, as much as I'd like to just jump over there and, grab him and have him be here right now. It'll work. It's going to work out. Until then, I'll just keep sending my love through the astral realm sending in my protection, and continue to heal myself and live my best life and help others, as much as I can. I hope this video touched somebody's heart, and just start today with the little things. Change something small and, continue to do it. Little by little, you can change your life. I'm living proof. I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Peace.